not only our host for today's tailgate from Millage Avenue, but also UGA supporters of rugby. I almost said rugby football. I can show you my ignorance, but they played at UGA, play rugby, and they're supporters of it, and they're keeping it going. You may not know a lot about UGA Rugby, but it's the oldest club on campus. Very proud tradition, and these guys are trying to keep that tradition going. And part of what they're doing today is to support the current rugby efforts. Hey, so how are you guys tonight?
Good, Josh. Thanks for having us.
Yeah, doing well.
So talk us through the history of this and y'all's role in it, and just kick it off, and somebody just jump in and tell Georgia fans like me that are huge football fans about what we need to know about UGA Rugby.
Yeah, I think there's a lot that folks don't know that are fellow UGA grads like ourselves. We started in '67. A group of guys put it together that a few of them had seen it played abroad and came back to school and were in school and put the team together in 1967. So we celebrated 50 years back in 2017 there on campus. Myself, Steve, a lot of us were there. And now we're continuing on trying to get it to the next 50 years. So just a lot of there's a lot that you get from the sport, but there's a lot we need to communicate out to. And we appreciate you, Josh, having us on, because we don't have the message out as much as we'd appreciate. Those of us that played rugby and continued on to clubs here in Atlanta, etc., hugely involved in USA Rugby and National Collegiate Rugby, but we need to do a better job, and we appreciate you having us on about what is rugby on the university campus, and things like where do we play, etc. We're right off of South Campus Road, up on the fields there. We built the field actually there at the intramural fields back in 67, 68, 69 in that area, and continue to play there to this day. So what is that, 53 or 4 years later? So
it's kind of interesting. The university has grown so much over the last 25, 30 years, and, seeing so many sports that were not really represented, really come to flourish, whether it's the ice hockey team or the soccer growth. But you guys have been there since the beginning, and that's pretty cool. And I think it's awesome. You guys have, SEC championships, and you guys All-Americans. Talk us a little more about the actual the club and some of the accomplishments you guys have had.
Yeah, we've won SEC championships through the years. We've hosted the SEC championship a couple of years when I was there, in the late '80s, early '90s. One of our All-Americans is with you. Steve Brinson was an All-American rugby player when he was at Georgia. So we've had a lot of success. We've sent, which is really cool, we've sent guys from our team. Chad Young, who I think and a guy named Rob Young went over to Scotland right during like junior to senior year, and went back afterwards to play rugby there and bring that back to clubs here in Atlanta. We've also sent guys across the country to I don't know how many people know this. U.S. rugby is an Olympic sport. As a matter of fact, 2031, for those that don't know that are listening to Dog Central, we will host the Rugby World Cup here in the U.S. There'll be a lot of games in the Atlanta area. We have ATL Rugby. I don't know if everybody knows that. They play at a Silverback Stadium, and they are in the Professional Rugby League here in the States. So they'll host a lot of those games, which is super cool for us. We'll get involved in that at a club, and we'd encourage you, even if you don't know what's going on in rugby, it's a lot of fun to come out and watch, and people will. The great thing about the rugby community, if you have somebody new, everybody wants to teach you what's going on out there. So if people know that and come out, it'd be great. But yeah, I mean, it's a sport that I think a lot of people don't know, because I think when they watch it either on television or someone's invited them, they don't understand it. But if they have somebody to kind of guide them through it, and with the internet now, you should be able to look up and at least understand what's going on as to how it's going on, etc. And I don't know if you know this, Steve will remember this. They changed the scoring rules. I think that was what, Steve, like late 90s, early 2000s, to kind of mimic some of what we have in American football, so the American audience would understand a little bit more about it.
So Steve, you're heavily involved in the current team as well. Talk to us about the 2022 team and what and where are you in the season, and give us some players we should know and some upcoming games maybe we could check out.
Yeah, and actually, I live in New Orleans, so I'm more involved from an administrative standpoint, hands on the ground. That would be Chad Young, and Charlie. Those guys are a lot more involved. We have a game coming up this weekend. Who are we playing, Charlie?
I believe we are playing Auburn. Yes, I think we're playing Auburn while they're here. So I think that's our next game coming up. So, and that's Josh. That's a good thing for everybody to know. So, in our rugby union, we have University of Tennessee, University of South Carolina, University of Kentucky. Clemson's in there, so not necessarily an SEC team. And we're adding. There's a lot more that are not SEC, but we continue to add teams. Alabama into our union as we move forward. So it's cool. There's still an SEC presence in our division and the like. As a matter of fact, you asked a question. I would tell you, and he's at a lot of our tailgates, and we'll talk about that. Steve will talk about our rugby fundraisers and his generosity around his lot during games, etc. But a guy named Brian Acklin is our current captain and president of the rugby club officers. He plays scrum half, which is scrum half's a little bit like I would call it quarterback / setup. Fly half's probably a real quarterback, but he's the guy kind of getting it from, to give it American football terms, from the line where I played, probably not shocking if you see me, and out to the back, so we're going to get the ball and score. So he's an up-and-comer, great player. He actually played where I'm from here in East Cobb, down, just here in Atlanta, north of Atlanta, and really good player, good kid. So if you come out and watch at the rugby pitch, you'll see him and say hi.
Yeah, we're getting all kinds of terms here. It is a pitch there, guys. So
that's correct.
It is a pitch in the fly backs, and this is awesome. I'd certainly watched, and certainly around the Olympics, I pick up on it more. But I thought I played rugby a lot when I was growing up, but it may have been in less politically correct term where we were just throwing a football around trying to knock somebody's teeth out.
Well, you're not far off. I don't know.
It's funny, John. A lot of people think that rugby is really just like tackle football until they watch a match. Very different. But I'll say this about the team and what we're trying to accomplish. But I had joined a fraternity in '82 as a Sigma Chi. We were flag football, and after we got through, these two older guys that I really didn't. I mean, I just kind of met them. Said, "Hey, come in your boots." Same thing. So I did. The next day, I came out to the intramural fields, and some older looking guys, some just a whole different looking people. And I said, "Is this another team we're going to play again?" University of Georgia Rugby Club. You're going to play rugby. And I was like, "Really? I've never even heard of rugby." Attracts a lot of young Americans to rugby that, if most of us basketball, baseball, or wrestled or played soccer in high school, you get a lot of wrestlers, a lot of players into rugby. But the beauty of it is not having to put all that equipment on, not having to have a helmet where you can't see that well, or shoulder pads that are keeping you from turning and maneuvering. And that, I found that, man, I really like this. I can run free without all those things. That's what kind of intrigued me. But then the relationships, the big difference. Like I said, most of us, you go out on a Friday or Saturday, you play your game, you shake the guy's hands. You never really see these people. One of the social aspects of rugby is it's a rough sport. So you have typically your fly half. I'm going to be playing against my opposite fly half for the most part all day. So he's going to try and beat me. I'm going to try and beat him. But when the game's over, we go to a common area, the home team, food, they have drink, we sing songs. And immediately my first, post greatest thing in the world. I just met 20 new people I didn't know, and I'll probably see them again before the end of the year. The sport itself leads to a social network that is international. And I won't bore you with some stories because I'm sure Charlie's got them too. But traveling internationally and hooking up with people is not uncommon whatsoever. Pretty intriguing.
Yeah, it's a sport I know is steep in tradition, and I know that you guys and the club is proud of honoring those traditions as well.
Yeah, we really are. And we were reaching out. As you know, club sports a little different. You don't quite get the attention. You don't get all the interaction. And I'm not saying anything against rec sports. They've helped us over the years in a lot of ways. But we have to having a mature president of the club, and now that we have us boots on the ground in Athens, trying to organize the guys, we have to go back and sometimes, depending on how the club's going, we do, or sometimes we don't. Like, go to everybody understand we have a rugby club, and just come out and try it. A position for every single person: big, tall, skinny guy, big, short, heavy guy, slow guy. Am I right? There's a position for everybody.
Yeah,
I was quick for my size, Joe. I had slow, heavy guys. I was quick for my size. That's why I was able to play and start. I'm kidding. It's true.
All right. So, and you guys are, clearly you're passionate about this. And in fact, we have the UGA Rugby Club. I say we, but I feel like I've already feel like part of the family, but UGA awesome. Has scholarships to offer, and you really are growing this club and this sport and growing it in the right way. Can you talk about these scholarships and how can people that want to think this is cool and say, from any level of support, what can they do?
Scholarships that the club gives away. Why don't you touch base on those?
Yeah. So we started, Josh, it's been about 5 years ago. We started giving out scholarships. It was actually born of, and it's kind of cool, is and our last coach did a really good job of this. When we were there, and I think Steve the same, is we tried to just grassroots go out and recruit guys that had played high school football or wrestled or played basketball, just guys that had played high school sports. What we started to do with these scholarships is we started to get some criteria as to who gets it, but we also started to look at if there's a young man out there that maybe was going to go play D2 football or D3 football and realizes, you know what, I want the experience of being on a beautiful campus like Athens, Georgia, at a unified university like University of Georgia. That's what we created the scholarships for, and we're adding to them as we go. Steve can tell you about one in particular that he's, as I said, been generous and is heading up. So we're looking to add 2 more. As a matter of fact, we've had 2. We're looking to add 2 more. Steve, do you want to talk a little bit about the Lusky scholarship?
What we did is we're trying, as Charlie says, we're trying to grow the sport recognition to it. We've created some scholarships. The 2 that we've created recently, the Mark Delusky scholarship, and the other is the Jay Smith scholarship. These are 2 former influential to the teams in that era. Mark happened to be my first coach in 19. Great guy. He had a lot of wonderful credentials that we've kind of outlined for who will receive his scholarship. And Jay Smith was a guy that I had a chance to play with, and he was very influential in the team. Had a lot of good memories. The guy played more than I think I just played 1 year with Jay. But basically, what we're doing is we're recognizing these, keep their memory going with the scholarship. What we're at, one way that we're raising the money for the scholarship is there's a building called the Glass Building. It's South Milledege Avenue. It's a block or 2 off of Baxter, so super convenient. And the alumni come there. We're charging for parking because it's convenient to the stadium on game day. The parking lot that we raise, and that's where we're gonna put the money in the scholarship. It behooves everybody. We get alumni to come so we can all run into each other and have some events. We're gonna have you guys out there. We're gonna have an artist out there this weekend, trying to generate some activities that can bring some influence and some recognition, but monetize the scholarships to help the team.
It's really great. Right now when you're watching this, we are actually recording. We're streaming live from this wonderful tailgate. It's a good spot. You guys are generous to have us as guests. We've got a party going on. if you want to come in and park your car, that's the simplest way you can help UGA Rugby. But just come on by and you get to meet some of these folks, and it sounds like a fun thing to do if you're in the area and you've got some kids, and you just go check out a game out there on South Campus Road and learn. And you've got some killer swag, right? We still have some swag on the website you sell. It's some of the best stuff out there. It's really, really sharp. And and tell us the website for that and to learn more about UGA Rugby.
Yeah, UGARugby.com. Just go out. It's got information about our club, about our alumni, Facebook. We're out on Facebook, that you can find us there as well. So yeah, any of those social media platforms. So, and Josh, you mentioned the tailgate. So, and Steve mentioned, so we're auctioning off. It's a bulldog with our rugby jersey on, red and black, but the artist is actually doing a painting live as well. So if people want to come by in the lot and watch him do it, he'll be doing a live painting, and that'll be auctioned off at the end as well. And I'm positive it will be bulldog related, something to do with UGA.
Chad Parker is right here. You guys know him. He's super popular and with a lot of his UGA athletic themed stuff, and he's painting it right now. And we're going to put this on podcast too, so people that watch our podcast will actually have a heads up on this as we're live too. So yeah, this is a great energy, and this is very much in simpatico with what we want to do at Dog Central. And I love you guys willing to be a part of this community of just, Bulldogs having fun, talking Bulldogs, and UGA Rugby is a exciting thing to learn more about and be a part of. And guys, this is also, we're going to be back here doing more of these, and this tailgate and these parking spots are available to anyone all season long. So if there's a home game, come in and park your car at a good spot and help these guys continue a really great tradition. So I appreciate you guys joining us. Steve, Charlie, anything else we want to let these people know? And we're going to do this again and have maybe some players on too. So I think it's a fun thing that we got going on.
Yeah, I think encourage anybody that hears the podcast or hears the is listening to soccer players, a lot of football players, a lot of athletes coming out of high school, and they still have some speed, so to speak. They want to play something. And this is a great sport for them to enjoy. Physicality they want out of it, at the same time a nice social interaction.
Oh, I love that.
Josh, the only thing I would end with, I echo what Steve said, but I'll just give you a different flavor as well. And I think people are shocked when they come out and see our alumni. Even though we had a great time and we love to have fun, but we've got a lot of successful people in our alumni, CEOs, people that own car dealerships, adjunct professors there at Georgia, all over the country. I mean, it's a sport that I today am truly humbled and amazed with all the people I know alumni wise from our rugby club that are people that you'd want to network with from a life and career perspective as well. So these kids need to know that it doesn't go it goes way beyond the pitch. You have fun on the pitch, you have fun while you're there, but it's a great way to network. And there's a lot of folks in our alumni that are looking to help, not our rugby players, but also other, Georgia grads from a mentoring perspective. So,
gotta love that. Steve, Charlie, thank you guys, and go to UGARugby.com and make sure you maybe come by and see us, if not today, another time for a home game. All right.
Yeah, go Dogs.
Awesome.
Go Dogs.